Alright, close your eyes and picture this. You've been planning this dream trip for months. You have the itinerary, the perfectly curated list of must-see attractions, and the excitement levels of a child walking into Disneyland for the first time. You land at the airport and the first thing you do? Grab a bottle of water because your lips are drier than a desert cactus. But guess what? It costs $12. You blink twice, check the label, hoping it's some holy mineral-infused water blessed by ancient monks. But nope, it's just overpriced tap water in a fancy plastic bottle. Welcome to Tourist Trap Central. And it gets worse. That exclusive one-of-a-kind souvenir you just bought from a charming old man, you walk 2 blocks down and see the exact same thing at half the price. And let's not even talk about the overpriced skip-the-line pass for that bucket list attraction, only to realize the regular line is actually moving faster than the so-called express lane. Congratulations, you have been scammed, ripped off, and officially inducted into the Tourist Trap Hall of Fame. But don't worry, it's not your fault. You've just entered a $2.2 trillion industry built on making travelers spend way more than they need to. Today, we're changing that. Welcome to Passport Nuggets, where we help you travel smarter, avoid the traps, and experience the world like a pro. Let's go. Tourist traps exist for one reason, and one reason only. They work. The travel industry is built on 2 kinds of people: locals who live their daily lives, and tourists who show up ready to spend their life savings on mediocre pizza and overpriced gondola rides. These traps work because of 3 things. 1. The famous place scam. The moment a place is labeled iconic, prices triple, and authenticity, that vanishes into thin air. Take Times Square, for example. Locals, they don't go there. But tourists happily pay $15 for a hot dog, $40 for a skip-the-line photo op, and somehow get excited about eating at a chain restaurant they could visit at home. Same thing happens in Rome. The Trevi Fountain. Absolutely stunning. But don't be fooled. Those guys in Roman gladiator costumes? They're charging tourists 20 euros for a photo. And if you hesitate, boom! They're already snapping pictures demanding payment. 2. The convenience tax. Everything costs more because they know you're tired, hungry, and won't walk an extra block. A cappuccino right next to the Eiffel Tower? That'll be 12 euros. Walk 3 streets over? That's only 3 euros. That's a 9 euro tourist tax you just paid for the view. Same thing happens in Venice. Restaurants on the Grand Canal expect tourist prices, but walk 2 streets away, locals are eating the same food for half the price. 3. The walking ATM phenomenon. If you're wearing a fanny pack, clutching a city map, and looking at buildings like they just whispered the meaning of life to you, guess what? You're now a walking ATM. Venice, gondola rides, tourists, 120 euros for 15 minutes. Locals, they take a vaporetto for 7.5 euros and laugh at the tourists throwing away their money for the same view. Marrakesh, street markets, tourists, they pay triple for handmade souvenirs that were actually mass-produced in China. Locals, they negotiate like pros and get the real price. And the best part? These scams aren't even new. Ever heard of the Great Pyramid of Giza? There are ancient texts from 2,500 years ago, where Greek travelers wrote about getting scammed at that very site. So don't feel bad. Tourist traps have been around forever. But the good news? Now you know better. Alright, let's talk strategy. Because if you want to avoid being fleeced like a first-time traveler, here's what you need to do. 1. Ditch the mainstream travel guides. Example, La Rambla in Barcelona. Every tourist goes there. Locals avoid it like it's on fire. Instead, they hang out in El Born or Gracia, where the tapas are twice as good and half the price. 2. The if they have a tourist menu run rule. Example, Italian restaurants with 15 different language menus. Locals, they don't eat there. Why? Because real pasta doesn't cost 25 euros. And that complimentary bread basket? Oh, you're definitely paying for that. 3. Get lost on purpose. Example, Bangkok's Grand Palace. Beautiful, Absolutely. Crowded? Like a subway at rush hour. Instead, take a boat to Tomburi, where you'll find hidden cafes, amazing street food, and no one trying to sell you an overpriced elephant keychain. Let's talk about saving money while still having the best experience. Because traveling smart isn't just about avoiding scams. It's about getting the absolute best version of your trip without breaking the bank. Public transport over taxis. Skip overpriced, exclusive tours. Eat where the locals eat. And most importantly, always do your research. A little effort now saves you hundreds later. The Passport Nuggets travel rule. If you travel like a tourist, you'll get a tourist experience. Here's the truth. If you travel like a tourist, you'll get a tourist experience. If you travel like a local, you'll have the trip of a lifetime. Talk to locals. Dress like a local. Go to places that aren't listed in every travel guide. And most importantly, be smart. Instead of lining up for the Eiffel Tower, locals picnic by the Seine. Better view, no tourists, no scams. That's the move. And there you have it, the ultimate guide to dodging tourist traps and traveling smarter. Where's your next adventure? Drop it in the comments. And if these travel hacks helped, hit that subscribe button for weekly travel tips.